The early morning sun filtered through the blinds of my modest apartment, casting a soft glow over the cluttered kitchen. I was running through my usual routine. A quick workout, a hasty breakfast, and then off to work. It was another typical day as a bus driver, one filled with the monotony of familiar stops and the occasional burst of unpredictability. But this morning was different. As I drove my bus down the usual route, my thoughts were on Harold, the elderly man who was a daily fixture on my route. Harold, with his kind eyes and gentle smile, had become more than just a passenger. He had become a friend, and in many ways, a father figure. He was the one who brightened my day with stories and his routine coffee, and his presence was a small but significant part of my daily life. That morning, as I approached Harold's usual bus stop, I noticed something was amiss. The usual crowd of commuters was waiting, but Harold was nowhere in sight. I checked my watch and saw that it was already past the scheduled departure time. My usual protocol would have been to leave on time, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. Harold was never late. Something must be wrong. "All right, folks," I said to the passengers. "I'm going to wait a few more minutes for someone who usually rides this bus. I'll be back on track soon." The murmurs from the back of the bus started immediately. Passengers shifted impatiently in their seats, some grumbling under their breath. "Come on, we don't have all day." One passenger snapped. "I have a meeting, you know." "Yeah, and I've got an appointment," another added. "This is ridiculous." I tried to ignore the complaints and focused on the bus stop, my eyes scanning for Harold. Finally, after 10 minutes of waiting, I saw him hurrying towards the bus. He was breathing heavily, his face flushed with exertion. "Thank you for waiting, Ethan," Harold said, stepping onto the bus and taking his usual seat behind me. "I'm sorry I'm late. I wasn't feeling too well this morning." "No worries, Harold. I'm just glad you made it," I replied, trying to sound cheerful despite the growing tension on the bus. As I drove off, I could feel the disapproval from the passengers. Their impatience was palpable, and it wasn't long before I received a call from my boss. By the time I finished my shift and returned home, I knew there was trouble brewing. When I walked into the office the next morning, Mr. Phillips, my supervisor, was waiting for me with a stern expression. "Ethan, I need to talk to you about your actions 2 days ago," he said, his voice curt. "It seems you delayed the bus schedule to wait for a single passenger. Is that correct?" "Yes, sir," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "Harold is a regular passenger, and he was running late. I thought it was important to wait for him." Mr. Phillips's face darkened. "The delay caused significant inconvenience to other passengers. You've received several complaints. As a result, you're suspended for 2 weeks without pay. Maybe this will give you some time to reflect on your priorities and commitment to the job." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. "But sir, it was only a few minutes. Harold is an elderly man and—" "Enough, Ethan. This is not open for discussion." Mr. Phillips cut me off. "You can go now. I'll see you in 2 weeks." I left the office feeling a mix of frustration and sadness. As I walked home, my mind was racing. I had always taken pride in my job, and Harold's friendship had been a bright spot in my otherwise routine life. The suspension felt like a personal failure, and I was unsure how to face the coming weeks. When I arrived home, my parents were already there, looking concerned. My mother's voice was gentle as she asked, "How was work, dear? You're home early." I struggled to find the words. I got suspended," I finally admitted, "for waiting for Harold. They said it caused delays, and I have to take a 2-week unpaid break." My father's reaction was a mix of disbelief and sympathy. "That's rough, Ethan, but you did what you thought was right." "I know," I said, feeling the weight of the suspension pressing down on me. "I just hope this doesn't mess up everything." As I settled into my thoughts, I couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something bigger. I had no idea how true that would turn out to be. The days following my suspension were filled with a quiet sense of emptiness. With no bus to drive, I spent my time wandering through the city and reflecting on what had happened. My thoughts often drifted back to Harold, the elderly man whose friendship had become a cornerstone of my daily life. The connection we shared was one of the few things that made my job truly fulfilling. Harold was not just any passenger. He was someone who had become deeply important to me. He wasn't merely a daily stop on my route. He had become a figure of stability and warmth in a life that often felt cold and routine. Our conversations were a welcome break from the impersonal interactions I had with most passengers. One particularly cold afternoon, I decided to visit Harold's favorite spot, a small coffee shop near the DIY store where he worked. The cafe was modest but cozy, filled with the rich aroma of freshly brewed coffee. As I entered, the bell above the door jingled softly. The barista, a young woman with a friendly smile, greeted me. "Hi there. What can I get for you today?" "Just a coffee, thanks," I replied, trying to keep my tone upbeat. As I waited, I couldn't help but think about Harold and his absence from my daily routine. As I sipped my coffee and glanced out the window, I saw Harold shuffling down the street. He looked tired and slightly unsteady on his feet. My heart sank, and I quickly made my way outside to catch up with him. "Harold," I called out, my voice carrying a note of concern. Harold turned and offered a faint smile. "Ah, Ethan. Didn't expect to see you here." "Neither did I," said, catching up with him. "You don't look so good. Is everything all right?" Harold sighed and rubbed his chest. "I've been feeling a bit under the weather lately. Had some tightness in my chest this morning. I thought I'd just push through, but maybe that wasn't the best idea." "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my concern deepening. "I would have waited for you, even if it meant being late." Harold waved his hand dismissively. "Oh, Ethan, you've done more than enough already. It's just a bit of chest discomfort." I didn't want to worry anyone. I placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Harold, you're important to me. Your health matters more than a bus schedule. If you're not feeling well, you need to take care of yourself." Harold's eyes softened. "You're a good man, Ethan. I appreciate your concern. I've been working at the DIY store for years, and I suppose I've been pushing myself too hard." As we walked together to the park bench where we often sat, Harold continued, "You know, Ethan, you've been like a son to me. It's strange. When I talk about my boys, I often find myself thinking of you as well. It's not just about the daily ride. It's about the connection we've built." "Thank you, Harold," I said, feeling a lump in my throat. "That means a lot to me. You've been like a father figure I never had, and your support has been a huge part of my life." Harold chuckled softly. "Well, I'm glad to hear that. I always thought I'd be the one to give advice and share stories, but you've done a lot for me too." I sat beside Harold on the bench, savoring the moment of calm and connection. "We've been through a lot together, haven't we? I just want you to be okay." Harold looked at me with a mix of gratitude and affection. "And I want you to know that whatever happens, I value our friendship greatly. Sometimes life throws us curveballs, and we have to adjust. But having someone who cares makes all the difference." As we continued to chat, Harold's health seemed to improve slightly with the comfort of companionship. It was clear that our bond went beyond the routine of our daily interactions. It was about mutual respect and support, something that had grown stronger with every passing day. That afternoon marked a turning point for me. I realized that Harold's presence in my life was more than just a daily ritual. It was a meaningful relationship that had provided both of us with comfort and a sense of belonging. As I walked Harold back to his home and bid him farewell, I felt a renewed sense of determination to face the challenges ahead, knowing that our connection was a source of strength for both of us. 2 days after my suspension, I was still grappling with the unexpected turn of events. I spent most of my time at home, trying to keep busy with small projects around the house to avoid dwelling on my frustration. The quietude of my neighborhood contrasted sharply with the storm of uncertainty brewing within me. That morning, I was out in the garden, pruning some overgrown shrubs when I heard the distant rumble of motorcycle engines. The sound grew louder, and soon 5 motorbikes appeared, their engines revving in unison. I wiped the sweat from my brow and watched with curiosity and unease as they approached my modest home. The bikers, clad in leather jackets and helmets, dismounted with an air of purpose. I noticed they were a mix of ages, and one of them, a tall man with a strong build, seemed to be in charge. I stood there, frozen, as they parked their bikes and began walking towards my front door. When the leader of the group knocked, I took a deep breath and opened the door. "Can I help you?" I asked, trying to sound calm despite my growing anxiety. "Ethan?" the leader asked, his voice carrying a serious but friendly tone. "Yes, that's me," I replied, stepping aside to let them in. "What's this about?" The leader removed his helmet, revealing a young man with a neatly trimmed beard and kind eyes. "I'm Ethan, Harold's eldest son. We've been looking for you." My heart skipped a beat. "Harold? Is he okay?" "Harold's fine," Ethan said with a reassuring smile. "He's been worried about you, though. We heard about what happened with your suspension, and we wanted to talk to you." I invited them inside, offering them a seat in my modest living room. As they settled in, I could see the concern in their eyes. "I'm sorry if this is all a bit sudden," Ethan began. "I just wanted to make sure you're all right. Harold mentioned how much you've done for him." I nodded, feeling a mix of relief and curiosity. "It's been a tough couple of days. I'm still trying to get my head around everything. What exactly did Harold say about me?" One of the other men, a middle-aged man with a friendly demeanor, spoke up. "Harold always speaks highly of you. He told us about how you waited for him, even when you were running late. We wanted to make sure you know how much he values your kindness." Ethan continued, "We've recently started a logistics company focusing on motorbike transportation. We're looking for someone to manage our operations, and we thought you might be interested. Harold mentioned your passion for transportation, and we'd like to offer you a position." I was taken aback. "A managerial position? I'm flattered, but why me?" Ethan leaned forward, his expression earnest. "We know it's a big step, but Harold has always spoken about your dedication and your interest in transportation. We think you'd be a great fit for the role. Plus, it would mean getting to work closely with Harold, which I know would make him happy." I stared at them in disbelief. I don't know what to say. This is all so unexpected. My suspension has been tough, but I never imagined something like this. The man who had remained silent until now, an older gentleman with a warm smile, added, "Sometimes life's setbacks lead us to better opportunities, Harold, and we believe this could be a chance for you to start anew. The job pays 3 times what you're making now, and it offers stability and growth." I looked around at the faces of Harold's family, each one reflecting genuine kindness and support. "This sounds incredible. I would love to be a part of your company. But I have to ask, what about Harold's job?" Ethan's smile grew. "Harold has decided to step back from his old job. He'll be doing some light janitorial work for us, which will allow him to spend more time with you and the rest of the family. We want this transition to be as smooth as possible for everyone." I felt a surge of gratitude and excitement. "Thank you for considering me for this opportunity. I'm honored, and I'm excited to get started." As the meeting concluded, I felt a profound sense of relief and optimism. Harold's sons had not only offered me a new job, but had also shown me the importance of family and support. I realized that this unexpected visit was a turning point, a chance to rebuild my career and strengthen the bonds that mattered most. Ethan shook my hand firmly. "We're glad to have you on board. Harold will be thrilled to know you're joining us." As I watched the motorbikes pull away, I felt a renewed sense of purpose and hope for the future. The transition from my old job to the new position with Harold's sons was both exhilarating and overwhelming. It had only been a week since they'd first arrived on their motorbikes, but it felt like my life had taken a dramatic turn for the better. My first day at the new logistics company was a flurry of activity. The office was a sleek, modern space with an open floor plan and bright, energetic staff. The walls were lined with motivational quotes and dynamic charts showing the company's growth. It was a stark contrast to the drab, aging bus depot where I had spent years. Ethan, Harold's eldest son, was there to welcome me. "Hey, Ethan, welcome aboard," he said with enthusiasm. "I'm excited to show you around and get you settled in." "Thanks, Ethan," I replied, trying to mask my nervousness. "I'm really looking forward to this. It's a huge change, but it feels right." Ethan led me through the office, introducing me to the team. The staff was friendly and eager to meet the new manager. As I walked through the workspace, I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and anticipation. This was a place where I could truly make a difference. Later in the day, I sat down with Ethan and the other company founders, Michael and Laura, in a conference room. The room had a large table and a big screen displaying the company's strategic goals. Michael, a middle-aged man with a meticulous appearance, began the meeting. "Ethan, we're glad to have you join us. Your first task will be to oversee our logistics operations and improve our efficiency. We've been growing rapidly, and we need someone with your expertise to help us manage the increased workload." Laura, a sharp and personable woman, added, "We've been hearing great things about you from Harold. He's always spoken highly of your work ethic and dedication. We believe you are the right fit for this role." I nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and responsibility. "I'm eager to dive into this. What are the immediate priorities?" Ethan handed me a folder with documents and charts. "Our main focus right now is to streamline our delivery processes and improve communication with our partners. We also want to explore new routes and expand our network." As I review the materials, Ethan continued, "We've set up a meeting with our key clients tomorrow. It's a great opportunity for you to meet them and understand their expectations." That evening, as I was settling into my new role, Harold stopped by the office. His presence was like a comforting beacon. He looked healthier and more vibrant than I had seen him in a long time, his face beaming with pride. "Ethan," Harold said warmly, "I just wanted to see how your first day went. How are you finding everything?" "It's been fantastic, Harold," I replied, shaking his hand. "The team is great, and I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Thank you for making this possible." Harold's eyes twinkled. "You've earned this, Ethan. I've always believed in you, and I'm glad to see you getting the chance you deserve. I know you'll do great things here." "Thanks, Harold. It means a lot coming from you," I said sincerely. "I'm looking forward to working with you and the rest of the team. This job feels like a new beginning." Harold chuckled. "I'm excited to see where this journey takes you. And remember, if you ever need advice or just someone to talk to, I'm always here." As Harold left, I felt a profound sense of gratitude. This new opportunity wasn't just a job. It was a chance to start fresh and build something meaningful. The support from Harold and his family had given me a new lease on life, and I was determined to make the most of it. The following day, the meeting with the key clients went smoothly. I was introduced to several influential figures in the logistics industry, and their positive feedback was encouraging. I felt confident that with the right strategies and dedication, we could drive the company to new heights. Each day in the new role brought its own challenges and rewards. I found myself immersed in the logistics world, working on strategies to optimize routes, enhance customer service, and foster strong relationships with our partners. The work was demanding, but it was also invigorating. I quickly realized that this opportunity was more than just a new job. It was a chance to contribute to something bigger, to be part of a team that valued hard work and integrity. The support I received from Harold's family and the positive work environment made every challenge feel manageable. As the weeks went by, I began to see the fruits of our labor. The company's operations were running more smoothly, and our client satisfaction levels were rising. The work was rewarding, and I found myself growing both professionally and personally. In the midst of all this, my bond with Harold deepened. We had regular catch-ups where we'd discuss work, share stories, and laugh about the good times. It felt like a dream come true, a chance to work closely with someone who had become a father figure to me and to be part of a family that truly valued me. Looking back, I realized that my suspension had been a turning point, leading me to this incredible opportunity. It was a reminder that sometimes life's setbacks pave the way for unexpected and fulfilling new beginnings. As the months passed, my new role at the logistics company turned out to be everything I had hoped for and more. The transition from bus driver to logistics manager had been smooth, and the work was both challenging and fulfilling. Each day brought new tasks and opportunities, and the supportive environment made every effort feel worthwhile. One afternoon, I found myself in the company's break room, reviewing performance reports. Ethan, Harold's eldest son, and one of my closest colleagues, walked in with a cheerful grin. "Hey, Ethan," I said, looking up from my paperwork. "How's everything going?" "Great," Ethan replied enthusiastically. "I wanted to let you know that our client satisfaction scores have gone up significantly since you started managing the operations. You're really making a difference." "Thanks, Ethan," I said, feeling a swell of pride. "It's been a team effort, but I'm glad to see our hard work paying off." Ethan nodded. "Absolutely. The feedback from our clients has been overwhelmingly positive. They've noted how much smoother and more reliable our services have become. It's a testament to your leadership." Just then, Laura, the company's co-founder, joined us. "Ethan, I've been meaning to catch up with you. Can we talk about the upcoming expansion plans?" "Sure, Laura," Ethan said, glancing at me. "I'll catch up with you in a minute." Laura smiled at me before turning to leave. "By the way, Ethan, your performance hasn't gone unnoticed. Harold's been sharing stories about how you've turned things around here. I just wanted to say that we're thrilled to have you on board." As Laura walked out, I couldn't help but feel a sense of accomplishment. The turnaround in our operations was a direct result of the strategies we had implemented, and it was gratifying to see those efforts recognized. A few days later, I sat down with Harold in his modest office. His presence was always comforting, and I appreciated our conversations as much as the professional guidance he provided. "Ethan," Harold said, looking at me with a warm smile, "I've been meaning to tell you how proud I am of what you've achieved. The company's growth has been impressive, and it's clear that your dedication and skills are a big part of that success." "Thanks, Harold," I replied, my voice filled with gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without the support from you and your family. It's been an incredible experience, and I'm learning and growing every day." Harold leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. "I'm glad to hear that. It's been wonderful watching you thrive in this role, and I have to say, seeing you achieve your goals has been a real highlight for me." Our conversation shifted to more personal matters, and I appreciated the chance to catch up with Harold outside of work. It was clear that our bond had grown stronger, and I valued his presence in my life more than ever. One evening, as I was preparing to leave the office, Ethan approached me with a thoughtful expression. "Ethan, do you have a minute?" he asked. "Of course," I said, turning to face him. Ethan handed me a small envelope. "I wanted to give you this. It's an invitation to our company's annual gala. We're celebrating our recent successes, and we'd love for you to join us." I opened the envelope to reveal the beautifully designed invitation. "Thank you, Ethan. I'd be honored to attend. It sounds like a great event." "It is," Ethan said, his eyes twinkling. "And it's a way for us to show our appreciation for your hard work. You've been a key player in our success, and we want to celebrate that." The gala was a splendid affair, held at a luxurious venue with elegant decorations and a lively atmosphere. The evening was filled with toasts, laughter, and a genuine sense of camaraderie. As I mingled with colleagues and clients, I felt a deep sense of belonging. Later in the evening, I found myself standing with Harold and his family. Harold raised his glass in a toast. "To Ethan, whose hard work and dedication have truly made a difference. We're proud to have you as part of our family and our team." Everyone joined in the toast, and I felt a lump in my throat. It was a moment of recognition and celebration that I had longed for, and it was even more meaningful because it was shared with people who had become like family to me. As the night drew to a close, Ethan clapped me on the back. "Great job tonight, Ethan. You've come a long way since the bus driver days. Here's to many more successes and new opportunities." "Thanks, Ethan," I said, smiling. "It's been an amazing journey. I'm grateful for the chance to be here and for all the support I've received." Driving home that night, I reflected on how far I had come since my suspension. What had initially seemed like a setback had turned into an incredible opportunity. My career had taken a positive turn, and my life was richer for it. The support from Harold and his family had not only provided me with a new job, but had also given me a renewed sense of purpose and fulfillment. Sometimes, it takes a difficult moment to set the stage for something truly wonderful. I was living proof of that truth, and I couldn't wait to see what the future held. Embracing change had always been a daunting prospect for me, but as I settled into my new role, I began to understand the value of adapting to new circumstances. My days at the logistics company were busy but invigorating, and each new challenge felt like a step toward personal and professional growth. One morning, while reviewing the upcoming quarter's budget, I received a call from Harold. "Ethan, can we talk for a moment?" Harold's voice came through the phone, calm yet authoritative. "Of course, Harold. What's up?" I responded, setting aside my papers. "I'd like to discuss a few upcoming changes to our operations," Harold said. "Can we meet in my office?" "Absolutely. I'll be right there," I replied, hanging up and making my way to Harold's office. As I entered Harold's office, I found him standing by the window, looking out at the bustling activity below. He turned to greet me with a warm smile. "Ethan, come in. I wanted to go over a few things with you," Harold said, gesturing to a chair. "Have a seat." I took a seat and looked at him expectantly. "What's on your mind?" Harold took a deep breath. "We've been expanding rapidly, and I've been thinking about how we can streamline our processes even further. I'd like you to spearhead a new initiative to improve our logistics software and integrate it with our current systems." I nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. "That sounds like a significant project. I'm up for the challenge. What do you have in mind?" Harold handed me a folder filled with reports and proposals. "We've been considering a complete overhaul of our logistics software. We need someone with your expertise to lead the team and ensure a smooth transition. It's a big responsibility, but I believe you're the right person for the job." I reviewed the contents of the folder and nodded thoughtfully. "I appreciate the confidence you have in me. This will be a major change for the company, but I'm excited to get started." Harold placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "I'm confident you'll handle it well. Embracing change is never easy, but it's essential for growth. You've already shown that you're capable of adapting and thriving in new situations." As I left Harold's office, I felt a surge of motivation. The task ahead was daunting, but it was also an opportunity to make a significant impact on the company's future. Later that week, I met with the team that would be working on the software integration project. It was a diverse group, each member bringing different skills and perspectives to the table. I could sense their apprehension about the upcoming changes, and I knew it was important to address their concerns and build a cohesive team. "Hey, everyone," I began, standing at the head of the conference table. "I know the prospect of overhauling our software might seem overwhelming, but I want you to know that we're in this together. This project is crucial for our growth, and your expertise is invaluable." Maria, one of the senior developers, raised her hand. "Ethan, do we have a clear timeline for this project?" "I'm concerned about how it will affect our current operations." I nodded. "Great question, Maria. We're aiming for a 6-month timeline, with phased implementations to minimize disruption. I'm open to suggestions on how we can best manage the transition." Tom, another team member, spoke up. "What about training and support for the new system? Will we have resources to help us through the change?" "Yes, Tom," I replied. "We'll be implementing a comprehensive training program, and providing ongoing support to ensure everyone is comfortable with the new system. I want this transition to be as smooth as possible for everyone. As the meeting progressed, I could see the team's apprehension slowly transform into enthusiasm. By addressing their concerns and involving them in the planning process, I was able to foster a sense of collaboration and commitment. Over the next few months, the project progressed smoothly. I worked closely with the team, managing the implementation of the new software and addressing any issues that arose. The process was challenging, but it also provided opportunities for growth and learning. One evening, as I reviewed the latest project reports, Ethan stopped by my office. "Hey, Ethan, how's the project going?" he asked, leaning against the doorframe. "It's going well," I replied, looking up from my computer. "We're on track with our timeline, and the team is doing great. It's been a lot of work, but I'm excited about the progress we're making." "That's fantastic to hear," Ethan said with a smile. "I wanted to let you know that Harold and I have been discussing the possibility of additional projects in the future. Your success with this initiative has really impressed us." I felt a surge of pride at Ethan's words. "Thank you, Ethan. I've learned a lot from this experience, and I'm looking forward to taking on new challenges." As the project neared completion, I reflected on how much had changed since my suspension. What initially seemed like a setback had led to new opportunities and personal growth. Embracing change had been a difficult but rewarding journey, and I was grateful for the support and trust I had received from Harold and his family. The new software integration was a success, and the company's operations ran more efficiently than ever. The experience had taught me that change, while often challenging, could lead to remarkable outcomes and personal growth. As I looked out at the bustling office, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Embracing change had not only transformed my career, but had also given me a renewed sense of purpose and direction. The journey was far from over, but I was ready to face whatever came next with optimism and determination. The sun had barely risen over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the city as I arrived at the office. The past months had been a whirlwind of change and growth, and today marked a significant milestone: our grand opening event for the logistics company's new headquarters. It felt like the perfect opportunity to celebrate not just the company's success, but also my personal journey and the new beginnings that awaited. As I walked into the bustling office, I was greeted by a flurry of activity. Staff members were setting up decorations, arranging refreshments, and making final preparations for the event. The energy was palpable, and I couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and excitement. Harold approached me with a warm smile. "Good morning, Evan. Everything is coming together nicely, don't you think?" "Good morning, Harold," I replied, returning his smile. "Yes, it's looking fantastic. I'm really excited about today." "I am too," Harold said, patting me on the back. "You've worked incredibly hard on this project, and I want you to know how much we appreciate everything you've done." "Thank you, Harold. I couldn't have done it without your support and guidance," I said, feeling a surge of gratitude. "This has been an amazing journey, and I'm looking forward to what's next." As the guests began to arrive, I noticed some familiar faces among the crowd. Friends, former colleagues, and even a few old bus passengers had come to celebrate with us. I spotted Harold's sons, Ethan and Liam, mingling with the guests and catching up with old acquaintances. "Ethan, over here," called Ethan, waving me over. I made my way through the crowd and joined them. "Hey guys, how's everything going?" "It's going great," Ethan replied. "The turnout is impressive, and everyone seems excited about the new headquarters." Liam nodded in agreement. "We're thrilled to see all the support we've received. It's a testament to the hard work everyone has put in." As the event continued, I took a moment to reflect on how much had changed since that fateful day when I was suspended. The suspension had initially seemed like a devastating setback, but it had ultimately led to this moment of triumph and a new beginning. Later in the evening, Harold gathered everyone for a short speech. Standing at the front of the room, he addressed the crowd with a sense of pride and gratitude. "Thank you all for joining us tonight." Harold began. This new headquarters represents not just the growth of our company, but also the incredible journey we've been on together. I want to extend a special thank you to Ethan, who has been instrumental in making this vision a reality. The room erupted in applause, and I felt a flush of embarrassment and pride. I looked over at Harold, who gave me a reassuring nod. As many of you know, Harold continued, Ethan faced a challenging situation not too long ago, but his resilience and dedication have turned that challenge into an opportunity. It's a reminder that sometimes setbacks are just setups for something greater. After the speech, I had a chance to catch up with some of the guests. I found myself deep in conversation with an old friend from my bus driving days, Mark, who had come to show his support. Ethan, I have to say, I'm really impressed with everything you've accomplished, Mark said, clapping me on the back. It's incredible to see how you've turned things around. Thanks, Mark, I replied with a smile. It's been a challenging journey, but it's been worth it. I've learned a lot about perseverance and the importance of embracing change. You've definitely shown us that setbacks can lead to amazing opportunities, Mark said. I'm proud of you. As the evening drew to a close, Harold, Ethan, and I gathered together for a final toast. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of camaraderie and achievement. To new beginnings, Harold said, raising his glass, and to Ethan, for proving that with determination and support, we can turn any challenge into a triumph. To new beginnings, I echoed, raising my glass and looking around at the faces of those who had supported me along the way. And to the future with all its possibilities. As the clinking of glasses and the cheers of celebration filled the room, I felt a profound sense of fulfillment and optimism. The journey that had begun with a suspension and uncertainty had led to this moment of triumph and a new chapter in my life. The future was bright, and I was ready to embrace it with enthusiasm and determination. The new beginning was not just a milestone. It was a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of support, and the endless possibilities that lay ahead.